Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David. I'm the treasurer for Reform Party. From what we have gathered from the ground and our walkabout, for my duty is basically for the finance side of the party. Based on, I've been with the party for about 4 to 5 years, so I know the financial situation of this party. Just recently, our walkabout, we received very good response from the ground, and we have good donation from people. Even individuals who donate to us quite a few $1,000s, up to $10,000, which is the limit for any individuals to cough up with that sum. We are very thankful from the response, and this is a very good indication for us. I just hope that the residents and the people in Singapore would help us even more through this donation for this very important election years. Okay, I'll pass that to Kenneth.
Actually, I think Andy will say a few words now.
Good evening, everyone. Today we are at Ang Mo Kio GRC to reveal our candidates for the Ang Mo Kio GRC. So firstly, I would like to announce to say that our website is no longer www.thereformparty.net. We have a new website which is www.reform.sg. So I would like to take this opportunity to update every media here. And if you have any queries, please do forward it to our email addresses. And then I would also like to add, this is not a 2011 general election. This is a 2015 election whereby the Reform Party has got experience in running the campaign. And I believe right now we have a very well-balanced team. So we do hope that everything will be as smooth as it should be. And our party, the Reform Party, will put up a strong campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming down today. Sorry it's been taken so long to get underway. I understand we were asked to move twice. I think Lee Hsien Loong had his press conference in a coffee shop, but I think he had no trouble there. Some of you may find it boring if you attended our press conference yesterday. I apologize for that. Last year, a very rich and powerful man sued a blogger So today we are here at in Mr. Lee Hsien Loong's constituency to present a challenge to him. For the last 40 years, Mr. Lee, who, as well as suing bloggers, has a part-time job as the Prime Minister, has dodged the questions. We have written to him several times for answers to serious questions about discrepancies in the budget, about some of the funds the government has, and why the figures don't add up. We've never received a response. Today, we are going to Parliament to ensure that the dodging stops here. The team that we have assembled, we are not a protest group. We are not hecklers from the sidelines. We are a serious and stable party. We have presented policy papers. We have an exciting manifesto. When we are coming here with the serious intent of serving the residents of Ang Mo Kio. Our team is not cobbled together. Several of them I have long-term friendships with. We have worked together campaigned together. 4 of us contested together in GE 2011. There's a balance between new blood and veterans. There are people who have a national voice and even an international voice, like my friend Ravi on the right. There's a particular emphasis on a balance between activism on national issues such as CPF, jobs, and immigration, and local issues, grassroots issues. The West Coast Radin Mas team, who we revealed yesterday, has 3 returnees from the last election. The Ang Mo Kio team has 1 returnee and 3 born and bred Ang Mo Kio residents. Above all, the factor in choosing every one of them is their pure intention to serve the people. We are not an elite. We do not believe in elitism, aristocracy, artificial, natural, or otherwise. However, what our team is an elite of the heart. They want to serve the people. Now, does anyone want to ask any questions on national issues, or I will hand it over to Mr. Ravi, who will introduce the AMK team. He's the leader of the team.
Yes, dear members of the press, thank you for turning up at this press conference. First of all, I would like to thank the Reform Party for selecting me as a candidate. I'm privileged and honored by this gesture of theirs. Secondly, I would like to thank the Reform Party for having placed the trust in me to lead the team in Ang Mo Kio GRC. And this election is not just about casting vote, in my opinion. It is about the entire system of democracy in Singapore. You know, for me, it has been a very difficult decision to enter politics because I don't see myself as a politician, as more of a human rights activist. I expressed my decision not to enter politics to the media some time ago, but after which I got a lot of positive response from Ang Mo Kio residents, Facebook friends, and online supporters that I should stand for the general elections. And why the Reform Party? This party was formed by none other than J.B. Jeyaretnam. I've worked with him, and he has inspired me to do what is right in the legal arena. And why Ang Mo Kio? This is the last place that he fought in the general elections. In 1997, he almost won the Chengsan GRC ward. And so we are here to continue the spirit of Mr. Jeyaretnam. I'm also formerly from Ang Mo Kio, and I'm well aware of all the nook and cranny of this place. Now, I will acknowledge that this constituency and the road in front of us is not going to be easy, because this constituency is held by the Prime Minister himself. And you ask me whether we are daunted by this, the unequivocal answer is no. We are here to take up the cudgel, and we are here for the challenge. And let me tell you that we are so encouraged by the number of support that we have received from the ground in Ang Mo Kio that has spurred us to take up this challenge, and we hope to represent the Ang Mo Kio residents in Parliament. Now, what I would like to emphasize particularly is something which has been left out of this entire discourse in the elections. And my emphasis is constitutional reform in Singapore. Now, why is it so important? Our lifestyle, our basic freedoms are based on the Constitution. In any country, the Constitution governs the people's right of expression. of fundamental liberties. Now, the Constitution was drafted in 1950s by the Raid Commission under the colonial government. And in 1966, they adopted the colonial regime's recommendation. Since then, the Constitution has not been revised. We have very unfair laws, outmoded judicial aspects and legal system and laws in the Constitution, like, for example, the death penalty, the Sedition Act, and even recently the MDA regulations potentially violate the freedom of expression. And I am sick and tired, I must say, that to challenge all these unfair laws in court. And repeatedly the courts, and I won't quarrel with the judges, they say that, please, we are not here as parliament. So I hope that my expertise that I wish to bring on the table to be able to go into parliament and effectively check these unfair laws and be a sounding board of the people. Now, what is astonishing is the way in which our ministers go about telling people, oh, $1,000 is enough for you to buy HDB flats. I wonder which planet these ministers are living in. And look, if $1,000 or $2,000 you have a month, and how are you going to keep your minimum $161 as your minimum CPF sum? So which is why we see that the government is definitely not with the people, especially the Prime Minister has made the 6.9 million population issue as an election issue. That again shows that the government is just talking to the people, and it is time that the people show their mandate to the opposition to challenge the population policy. Otherwise, we would lose this opportunity. Now, very often, dissenting voices and opposition is treated as if we are anti-government, anti-Singapore. And this misses the important role of Parliament being an effective check on the government. And you don't have to treat us like as if we are declaring war when you disagree with you to fix the opposition. But you can incorporate our views into the policies and refine them, just like other mature democracies will do. Now, I will say that this team has something very, very unique to offer. We are a mixed team of activists. Like Gilbert started the protest against the 6.9 million population's white paper, and he successfully garnered thousands of Singaporeans who turned up at the Speaker's Corner to voice their concerns. And there was some tweaking done on the white paper after that. Roy Ng fearlessly fought the CPF issues, after which you saw some changes. And there is Mr. Siva in the team, who was a former RC chairman, RC manager, who has managed the RCs, and he was also in the NTUC. He was also working in the People's Association. Now, Siva will be very helpful to us when it comes to the aspects of town council management. Through him, we understand the plight of the people here much better. Then we have Osman here. Osman has done a lot of charitable work. He's also a businessman, and he tells us how the businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, are, finding it difficult. And also he will bring up quite a number of the plight of the Malay community. We have Jesse Lu with us, and he was a former banker, and he's aspiring to return to banking industry, and he will be able to advise us on the financial know-hows and be able to address those issues. So we are a unique team, and this team is different from the PAP team because we are ordinary peoples, we are ordinary Singaporeans, and we can understand ordinary Singaporeans. We take the MRT, we don't go to the MRT just to show that we are with the people and take pictures and give an artificial smile. We are real people to confront real issues. And also, we don't suddenly learn Tamil during elections to show that we can identify with the Tamil population, especially in Ang Mo Kio. So on that note, we vote for Reform Party, vote for change. And you will hear now from the rest of the team. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ngerng. I'm running under the Reform Party at the Ang Mo Kio GRC for this election. Like Ravi has said, we are ordinary Singaporeans. We are not politicians. We are here to represent Singaporeans. What is unique about this team is that we have spoken up for Singaporeans over the past few years. We have fought for Singaporeans. We do not believe in waiting for things to change. We believe in changing things and going into Parliament to change things, to make things happen. I think most of you would be familiar with what I have done. I have spoken up on the CPF issue over the past few years. I have also faced certain persecution. But I believe that we have a responsibility to speak up for Singaporeans, and we have a responsibility to help Singaporeans who are downtrodden and who are affected. So if you look at Singapore, there are still many elderly Singaporeans who are unable to retire today. There are elderly Singaporeans who still have to work until their old age. Our concern is that the CPF is not adequate for Singaporeans, and there is also no transparency and accountability to Singaporeans on the CPF. Therefore, the Reform Party believes in transparency and accountability as well as inclusion. For our elderly Singaporeans who have contributed so much to Singapore, it is our responsibility as Singaporeans and as the government to help our elderly Singaporeans and allow them to be able to retire graciously and with dignity. It is not to say that they have to collect cardboards in order to have dignity. A responsible government is a government which will ensure that they have enough funds inside the CPF to be able to retire. So one of the issues that I'm concerned about is the CPF and on retirement adequacy. The government has to be transparent and accountable. It is not for the government or the PAP to say that they are the check on themselves. No one can be a check on themselves. We will be on the check for the people. We will be on the check on the government. When I was working at the hospital, there were also issues that I was concerned about. There were many poor, low-income Singaporeans who could not afford to pay their bills. They were on Medifund, but because the application process is so cumbersome, some of them choose to stop applying for Medifund and they choose to stop to go to the hospital. But Singapore is a very rich country, one of the richest in the world by national wealth. So it does not make sense that there are still so many low-income Singaporeans who cannot retire today and who have to choose to die instead of go to the hospital. And this is actually happening. The mainstream media has reported about it. I think that we have a responsibility, once again, we have a responsibility to ensure that the poor, the low income, and the weakest members in our society are protected. And the government has a duty and a responsibility to ensure that all Singaporeans are protected. A government has a duty and a responsibility to make sure that Singapore is a fair, just, and equal society. So this is what I want to go into government for. I want to ensure that Singaporeans will be fairly protected and that there will be a voice. Our team is a unique team. We have spoken up for Singaporeans. We know each other for quite a few years, some of us for more than a few years. So we have always been working together. I'm very comfortable with this team. It's a very down-to-earth, humble team. I'm actually very surprised at how we can work very fast together as a team. So it is a team that has shown a track record. It has a team that has proven results to Singaporeans. It is a team which will fight for Singaporeans, and it is a team which will work together to ensure that the rights of Singaporeans are protected. Being in government is not a privilege. Being in government is a duty and a responsibility. The PAP has taken their role in government too far and they have taken it for granted. We want to go into government to speak up for the people. We want to go into the government to ensure that the government will be responsible to Singaporeans. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll speak in Malay first, and then after that I'll deliver my short speech in English. Selamat tengah hari kepada semua. Dengan semangat rendah hati, saya berterima kasih kepada Encik Jeratnam dan Parti Reformasi kerana sudi melantik saya untuk menjadi calon bagi kawasan Ang Mo Kio GRC. Nama saya Osman bin Sulaiman, berusia 40 tahun. Saya mengendalikan syarikat renovasi dengan seorang lagi teman. Sebelum ini saya bekerja sebagai sumber manusia eksekutif selama 10 tahun dalam pelbagai industri. Pelantikan ini datang dengan tanggungjawab yang berat. Saya diharapkan berjuang bukan sahaja untuk bangsa Melayu, bukan sahaja untuk penduduk kawasan Ang Mo Kio, tetapi untuk semua warga negara Singapura dan sekaligus berbakti kepada masyarakat umum. Sistem Singapura berasaskan meritokrasi. Atas dasar ini, ramai yang telah dapat meningkatkan taraf kehidupan mereka dan sekaligus menyumbang kepada kemajuan masyarakat. Tetapi sejak sedekad yang lalu, polisi-polisi pemerintah lebih mengutamakan prestasi ekonomi tanpa membuat perancangan untuk mengatasi kesan-kesan sampingan dari ekonomi globalization. Ini telah mendatangkan banyak masalah-masalah sosial dan menimbulkan isu-isu yang belum lagi ditangani. Satu contoh polisi pemerintah yang telah banyak menimbulkan masalah kepada rakyat Singapura ialah immigration policy yang liberal. Kita dapat lihat bagaimana kemasukan warga asing tanpa sekatan telah menimbulkan isu-isu seperti kesesakan, masalah pengangkutan awam yang tidak dapat menampung peningkatan kapasiti, genangan gaji kerana adanya buruh murahan atau stagnation of wages, masalah integrasi, peratusan jenayah yang semakin meningkat, kehilangan pekerjaan dan lain-lain. Jikalau saya dipilih dan diberi peluang untuk menjadi wakil rakyat, saya akan memperjuangkan hal-hal isu-isu yang disebut di atas. Saya inginkan Singapura yang lebih bermakna, melaburkan bukan sahaja untuk kemajuan angka ekonomi, tetapi juga melaburkan kepada aset Singapura yang paling penting, iaitu kepada rakyatnya. Terima kasih. I'll now speak in English. Good afternoon to all. In all my humility, I would like to thank Mr. Jeyaretnam and the Reform Party for putting me up to be a candidate in Ang Mo Kio GRC. My name is Osman bin Sulaiman. I'm 40 years old. I run my own renovation business with another partner. Prior to this, I was working as a human resource executive for 10 years in various industries. The appointment as a candidate comes with a heavy responsibility. I'm expected to champion and bring up issues not only for the Malay community, but for all Singaporeans regardless of race or religion, and serve the community. Singapore has always prided itself on a system based on meritocracy. On this basis, many have been able to improve their standards of living and at the same time contribute to the advancement of the community. But a decade ago, the government has taken on to pursue economic growth at all costs without making contingency plans to overcome side effects of economic globalization. This has caused a lot of social issues and create many problems which have not been addressed. One example is our liberal immigration policy. We can see how the entry of foreign nationals without careful restriction have caused issues such as congestion, breakdown of our public transportation system which cannot cope with the increase in capacity, stagnation of wages due to the abundance of cheap labor, integration issues, increased crime rates, displacement of jobs for the local, and many more. If I'm selected and given the opportunity to serve the people, I will champion for the above mentioned issues. I want a more meaningful Singapore, investing not only for the advancement of economic figures, but also for a Singapore that invests in its most important asset, that is its people. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay, as part of the Reform Party that I wish to join, or had joined, sorry, I'm new here. My introduction to Reform Party was actually through JBJ back in the early 80s. It was an eye-opener for me, how the society could garner behind such men who fought for us. Now, I've never planned to come to politics. My field is economics and politics of change, politics of Asian development. And I'm here to especially bring out 5 points to you now. One of it is the inflation. Now, as we know that for many, many decades, our wages has not moved, even though the inflation has gone up quite a lot. So far, we have only seen very paltry percentage. I believe $15 should be very normal per hour, not $5, for example. And I think there are some economists who actually said that we should actually go up to $26. Wow. Well, anyway, I'm here to make it known to you that why the cost has gone up is part of the reason is because of not big society, we have big government. And when resources are taken away for other purposes, something has to give. And I think the low wage income owners have gone for too low and too long. So another thing I want to bring up is also that the business cost has been too high, and I think one of the reasons is because of high rental costs. And I believe that we should have some kind of cap on rental income so that the lower to medium-sized business are able to stay afloat and be competitive and stay competitive in Singapore. And also one of the things I want to speak about is the COE, which I will hope to speak more in the rally, to make it more affordable for people who really need a car to own a car. And lastly is the HDB price being too highly priced. It takes away a lot of CPF, and thereby at the end of retirement we have not much to retire on. So these are the pointers I wish to highlight to you, and I wish that you can vote wisely and vote for us at the Reform Party. You have the power to make a change. So please send us to Parliament. We are not here for the numbers. We are here to make sure we can go to Parliament. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Siva. Okay, I'm 32 years old. Okay, and this is a very emotional moment for me because this is where I'm born, this is where I'm brought up, and this is where I stay, and this is where I will be staying. Okay, and when I look at this area, this is where I normally go for marketing. Okay, the school there used to be Townsville Primary School. I used to study in that school, and this surrounding is very close to my art. Okay, and I used to work in RC quite some time ago. Okay, and I'm actually studied for diploma. I'm having a higher diploma in media. I studied for media education. I was working in MediaCorp as a freelance for some time. So basically I can feel, because normally I will be the one behind the camera and my people will be sitting in front. So for the first time I'm in front of the camera, I can feel how they used to feel that point of time. Okay, and this is the first time I'm addressing such a huge crowd. So I'm sorry if I'm a bit nervous. Okay, and before this, I used to work in NTUC Club as a media producer. Okay, while working in NTUC Club, I have some experience working with union leaders, and that gives me insights of how union works and how the employees and employment, the union, what they do for the employers, and I feel more can be done. And after some time later, I realized that I saw an opening under my blog notice board, an RC manager job. So from young, I really wanted to serve my nation. Okay, because I'm a vegetarian who turned into vegan, and I believe that everybody should be taken care, and every people should be served with love and compassion. Okay, including animals. That's what I firmly believe. So when I look at the job opening, I thought of joining. So upon joining, even though I've walked past this area many times, I didn't know there's a rented block around this area. Okay, when I went to rented block to do a house visiting, that was an eye-opener for me. Okay, in fact, I really felt very depressed by looking at the condition of how people living, and most of the houses are always in dark. Okay, it's not because they are trying to conserve electricity or what, it's because they are using pay-u unit, and some of them, they don't afford to pay the pay-u unit. And at first, when I first joined there, I had some language problem because most of them can only speak Chinese or Malay. I am fluent in English and Tamil. I don't know Malay and Chinese. Okay, but later I realized that when you can communicate in the language of the art, language doesn't matter. So somehow I try to connect with them, and they try to open up. Okay, these people are abandoned by their own family members for some reason, because the family members feel they are a burden for them. So these people are normally left alone, and I get very closely in touch with them, and I even till today, even after I left my work, I still do visit the blogs. I still do talk to them, and they still do call me. So that's where I thought I should do something for these people. Okay, rather than thinking in a greater scale, thinking about doing something for the world or Singapore, I wanted to start from where I am brought up in or where I'm living in. That's why I choose to stay in Ang Mo Kio. Because having this as a Prime Minister's GRC, I still see people who are suffering for food. I still see people who are senior people who can't even walk, going around picking for cans for a few cents. I still see people who are selling tissue paper to make their ends meet. I still see people who are carrying cardboard to work, and these people are already fragile. Okay, and I want to make difference in these people's life. Okay, and of course, when I'm talking about, I'm not only talking about the needy and the seniors. In fact, as a common Singaporean, I myself feel pressurized. Work is pressurized, okay, and our payday is not actually a payday, it's a payday where we pay the utilities, and it's everywhere we pay. Okay, end of the day, after paying everywhere, we are only left with a few bucks. Okay, so I think these have to change. I think our Singapore, we call it first world country, but I will not accept this as a first world country, because I want each and every individual life standard to be raised as well. Okay, I still see people who can't afford to buy food. I still see people who are walking around with torn clothes. I still see people who are homeless. Until these people have a home, until these people have food, that's where I will believe that this is a first world country. Until then, it's just the PAP's claim. I don't believe this is a first world country. Okay, and given a chance, upon voting, I'll be truthful to my people, and I will do my best for Ang Mo Kio GRC. And I believe serving these people with a true art, not by just showing them a smile, walking around in walkabout and shaking hand, and just after that neglecting them. I'll be there 24/7 for them. In fact, I am there already for some of them. And if I am ever elected, I'll be a full-time MP. Okay, and I believe that I do acknowledge, I do appreciate some of the RC volunteers' help. Okay, they are quite helpful, but we are the elected MPs if we are elected, and I believe that there should not be any filter, or there should not be any middleman between me and my resident. Okay, I will directly want to communicate with my resident, and my resident should call me directly if they want to, and I will be walking around the ground almost every day because this is where I stay. And that's about it. And I thank Mr. Kenneth to let me stand in RP. And of course, Ravi is someone who I admire, and Gilbert, Roy, and Osman, and Jesse. I'm very proud to be in this team. And I hope Ang Mo Kio people support us. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Kenneth for allowing us to stand as a platform in Ang Mo Kio GRC. I think this is a very unique team. It's almost a team of activists. We've been campaigning for the last 3 years. I think Roy, maybe longer. Ravi, at least 10 years. So we are a voice for the masses. For Roy, he's a voice for the CPF. Right? For Osman, spoke in my events for the last 3 years. Ravi, at least twice. And Jesse in the forum. So I'm happy, that this is a team that's very different from any opposition party team. My wish is for politics to be blended in together with activism. All along, politics is just for politicians. But why not? It's for activists. We speak for the people. We have spoken out loudly. People like Roy has been sued. People like Ravi has been banned by the Law Society. Yeah. And myself, I've go lim kopi for a few times. All because we are speaking out loud for the people. Is this fair to us? So the transition from activism to politics is just natural. I'm happy to say many of my team members who organize the events at Hong Lim Park are standing for election or helping actively with the campaign team. We have at least 100 to 200 active activists. Now, campaigning together with political parties, with the Workers' Party, with STP, with RP, and with many other parties, except the PAP, sorry. 2 years ago, on the 16th of February 2013, Singaporeans gathered together by the thousands, going against the population white paper. Right now, 2 years later, it will be the main issue that voters will vote on the 11th of September, because the white paper has harmed us. I've seen many professional PMACs that could not get a job, even though they're experienced and has a good degree or master's degree. This is something that I'm not happy about. Every month, I receive close to 30 emails from people with at least a degree or master's degree writing to me, "Dear Gilbert, I'm jobless. Can you help me?" We provide counseling and coaching services to those who are jobless, but often my hands are tied. We can't give them a job. We can't provide them a job, but I can give them my shoulder to cry on. We've seen close to 2,000 clients over the last 6 years, and I think it's a big problem. Of late, for the last 6 months, I've seen professional people in their 30s coming to my office and say, "Gilbert, I'm jobless, can you help me?" Right now, if we are 30s with a degree and they can't get a job, something is wrong. We have the best GDP in the world. Why are we not having the ability to provide our locals with a job? This is something that's bad. If you're in the 40s and 50s, you are in bad shape. The best deal you can get is to get a taxi license, even if you have a degree or master's degree. This is something that Singaporeans are not happy about, and they will bring this to the polls. Swing voters will be there, my friends. They will be out there to swing the votes against the government, because this white paper is hurting us. This white paper is giving us a lot of problems. The transport minister has stepped down because of this current influx of foreigners in our country. We've done a protest against the fare hike. We've asked Liu Tak Yew to step down, and I'm happy that he has, because he has done a lousy job, giving us problem after problem. The future ahead is bleak, my friends. We're looking at jobs that are lost to foreigners. There are right now 1.8 million foreigners in our country. 400 of them are professionals. 400,000, sorry. And these are the people that will bring us problems in Singapore. Right now, we're in dire straits. Right now, we are in deep trouble. Right. If you're in your 30s, if you're working, good luck to you. But once you turn 40 or 50, you don't have to look for a job. My best bet is to get a taxi license. Is this the country we want? Is this the government we want? Is this the future we want for our children? I know Singaporeans will vote widely against the current PAP government in the polls on the 11th of September, because the white paper has harmed us. And it will be the main issue as we rally and campaign during the next 9 days. Thank you, people.